Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 79 of the Simply One Podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we've got the show for you.
That's right. That's right.
That is correct.
Through sickness and health, night and day.
That's right. We are at battle right now. I am standing victorious. Morgan has had illness run through her. Chris says he feels under the weather, but he's also been running on next to no sleep and sleeping with his windows open as the weather changes. So we can't guarantee, because the symptoms he's showing could just be rundownness, you know?
That doesn't happen with me. I'm the throat goat, bro.
Pardon?
That just don't happen.
You what now?
You heard.
And I've been the caretaker. Like, I've been in the foxhole, dude. And nothing. I'm fucking right as rain. I've been sleeping on the couch.
You're gooch.
Left Morgan to the bedroom. And yeah, so we're Gucci. So it's been a weird long weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna burn through this, and I'm probably gonna go to bed.
You'll crash. Yeah. So
I was out hard. I was like, I can't. I got home from work, and I was like,
I just needed type 5.
No, I said a loose 5.
A loose 5.
I was
yeah.
like, let me go ahead and take a loose 5 and just die on my bed for a minute.
Yeah. So I allowed you to sleep for like 2.5
Dude,
to 3 hours.
Just the second I hit that pillow up, I was fucking out cold.
But
you know what it is.
Yeah. So I made you a nice little hottie toddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am the caretaker in this household.
Some bloke gets walloped on top of the head and you think that of me? No fucking way. I am the cunt who knocks. I'm fucking Eisenberg. I'm Walter fucking White. I'm fucking Eisenberg.
In it?
Yeah.
No, so this week, because we did spend so much time talking about M. Night Shyamalan's extensive filmography last week and kind of going back and forth and like, is he a bad director?
Yeah.
Or has he just made bad movies lately?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Keep that continuity with you.
So I think I did determine he has the ability to be a good director.
Yeah.
He's just
purposefully.
I think
bad.
if you go, well, no, I think like if you take an average, he falls right in the middle. Where like when he's good, he's good, and when he's bad, he is bad. He doesn't really make like mid movies. I don't think. He just he's good or he's bad.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So we decided to watch A Knock at the Cabin because it is free. Well, it's included in your Prime subscription.
Yep.
So we didn't have to go out of our way to go see something. And it fit in. Like we were like, well, you know what? We haven't seen that one. We were just talking about them.
Yep.
Let's give it a peek, see what the story is.
Give it a poke.
Because it's one that we actually almost went to go see for the podcast and then just decided it
We're
didn't.
like, nah.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't grab us enough to...
So you guys already have a mindset of what we're thinking.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You know.
Or it could be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. We might be...
That's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So I figure we're just going to jump into it.
Dude, like doggy style.
We're going to jump into it just full spoilers, since it has been out since February and it is available for free with your Prime subscription. It's included with your Prime subscription. That's right. It's not free. You're paying for Prime.
That's right. Ain't nothing free in this world, baby. Ain't no rest for the wicked.
Yeah, everyone's getting their piece of flesh, pound of flesh. But I do want to run through some news before we talk about Knock at the Cabin. So I want to talk about Taylor Swift's Eras Tour coming to theaters.
God.
It's coming to theaters.
Yeah.
Barbie, she set another record.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The potential for a Dune Part 3.
Yeah, they said that.
It was loosely... So we've got a little bit more meat.
Oh, okay.
SAG, the Actors Guild, is ready to stare down the video game industry.
Oh.
PlayStation has some good and some bad news for us.
Okay.
Starfield is unofficially out as of recording. And Elder Scrolls 6, we got some news about.
I played Skyrim. Yeah, it's like Elder Scrolls 6. I might check it out, but convince me. Let's talk about it. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that.
I'm just making that face because I know you're about to ride some Starfield dick.
No, you're absolutely right. I am.
And then the same studio who makes, I think, a better fantasy game is going to make another fantasy game. And you're like, meh. Whatever. Skyrim, that multi-million selling game, is fine.
I guess.
It's only lasted us for, 12 years.
You know, I don't know. Like, it's really that good?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
Gas.
Gas. Yeah, welcome back to Gas or Pass. The fucking almost 13-year-old game, Skyrim.
Gas.
Yeah, lukewarm takes, baby.
Yeah, that's all
that's
it
a
is.
very cold take. That highly successful, nearly 15-year-old game, it's good.
It's fucking
it's
fire.
pretty good.
Bro. Burn your hand on the stove, you know?
So, no, I do want to just start off the top with old T Swizzy.
Yeah.
Love her or hate her, bitch makes money.
Cash.
Like, she's money.
Yeah.
You know? I do want to clear something up between you and me.
Okay.
Her ticket prices, we've always been like, God damn, son of a bitch, because Morgan's hardcore. She's a Swiftie.
Oh, yeah.
We've yet to get her to a fucking Eras Tour show.
She's going to fucking blow up if you don't.
And then there's fucking, no, she's not. And then there's fucking people that I see on my goddamn, like, social media feed that are, like, seeing every show. And you're like, what the fuck, dude?
How the fuck do you pay for
One
it?
of two things is happening. Either A, the fucking system is rigged, because there's supposed to be, like, you can get in line as a confirmed fan or whatever, to, like, get first pick of tickets. That way it's not going to scalpers, right?
Right.
And then there's people that are getting in like 4 or 5 times. Not at one go, but like 5 shows in a row they got in.
Damn.
And then you've got Morgan, who's never once gotten even in line. And it seems like I say Morgan, not like it's happening to her, but people like Morgan who just aren't getting a shot at it. So I don't know what the fuck's going on there. I think they need to work on that system.
Conspiracy.
But
Straight up.
the ticket prices, if you get them first, like the first face value tickets, are nowhere near as expensive as the tickets that are getting the news.
Okay.
That's where people are buying them and then reselling them. And because they've bought them all up, they can kind of make the price whatever you want. And if people pay it, there's no reason to change it.
Yeah.
So you're selling tickets for fucking $2,600.
Damn, bro.
Like,
Hustling,
Yeah.
bro. How much do you think that person made?
oh, like $2,300. Her tickets are expensive for concert tickets of like $500 if you're against the stage. You're getting like $120 mid seats. So it's still kind of like, damn, that's a ticket. That's a good concert ticket. But then these people are fucking selling them for over $2,000.
Jesus.
So it's not like Taylor Swift is an evil greedy bitch in that case of like $2,600 tickets. That's not her putting them up for that price.
Well, I think she is. She's probably behind it, bro. The way she's making money, she knows that she'll get paid that cash.
What was the headline? She put out like something like $50 million worth of bonuses to everybody involved in the.
Yeah, you're telling me you're not smuggling money? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh no, she's making money hand over fist on this tour, selling out, adding dates that sell out immediately. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that shit's nuts, man.
So all of that to say, she is making there's a concert film, which I think honestly not a bad idea. From like there's still demand. Yeah. We can't add shows. If we add shows, it doesn't do anything for the demand. You know what I mean? It's just people buy them up. So we're going to make a concert film, put it out. If I can make money from the theaters too, opening up another revenue stream.
Yeah.
So the pre-sales for the event came in at $26 million on the first day of availability at AMC theaters.
That's just under, was it Infinity War?
So Infinity War, its first day pre-sales flat were like $28 million.
Okay.
Just at AMC, she made $26 million in pre-sales, which is a record for the theater chain. It previously was held by Spider-Man No Way Home, which was nearly $10 million lower at $16.9 million.
God.
So she blew Spider-Man out of the water. Fucking just obliterated that bitch. Now, I will say her tickets for the show are like $20.
Okay.
So they're, about double ticket price.
Yeah, sure.
But even still, $26 million in a day, that's insanity. And so in response, AMC added showtimes just because there's massive ticket demand. And they're like, ooh, we're going to, we'll add more shows.
Yeah.
Fuck it, if people are buying them, We'll
have 4 or 5 theaters playing the same fucking movie.
Yeah, and you guys will buy the tickets and
we'll be
rolling in dough, and so will Taylor, and you'll get to see the concert in some fashion.
And everyone's happy.
Yeah, exactly. So I did get Morgan tickets to that.
Oh, shit.
So her and I are going to go see the concert film. I'll look like a confused dad,
Yep.
I'll be sitting there smiling.
Take
it will be an odd experience of like, I'm going to be in a movie theater with a bunch of people singing.
Oh, man. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'd fucking bring headphones.
I might bring a cyanide capsule with me.
Not a bad idea.
In case it gets too bad.
Not a bad idea.
Break down on the false tooth, Like like a CIA agent, just start convulsing.
It's just how it is, man.
Yeah, sorry, man. So the massive success of these pre-sales scared off The Exorcist believer.
Yeah, I saw that.
They moved the release date up a week to October 6th.
Which I think is better, because it's Halloween.
Sure. Well, no. That's not better. Think about this. So they went, oh, we're going to release the same day as Taylor. We better back it up a week. They were going to release their movie, a horror movie, on Friday the 13th.
Oh, The Exorcist is?
Yes.
Oh, that's fucking golden.
It was going to release then. It moved it up a week to October 6th. They ran away from a Halloween movie, a horror movie releasing on Friday the 13th in October, and went, we can't do that shit.
Damn, man.
And that's such a marketing, it's Friday the 13th. People are going to want to go see spooky stuff, But now they'll be at fucking T-Swizzy, baby. Obviously.
That's fucking arguably scarier.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Bunch of fucking white girls running around.
Just a bunch of basic white bitches just singing Lover.
You can fucking hear their Birkenstocks slapping as they run down.
Slapping. Depending on how the weather breaks, they might be in Uggs.
There it is.
Shit.
Uggs. They're silent.
Uggs, black leggings, and a fucking North Face. Come
flannel.
on.
Yeah, some flannels. Come on.
It's a North Face, man. It's a fuzzy North Face. The worst part is I described like one of my wife's outfits.
Messy bun.
Yep.
And they just go in and get the scarf from the Starbucks.
Yeah. Nah, they're all going to be done up. It's T-Swizzy. They're going to get done up like it's the concert. It's going to be like the people that dress up as Jedi to go to see Star Wars.
There's a fucking difference there, bro.
It's the same thing.
No.
At least Taylor's a real person, man.
You watch your fucking tongue.
I'm just saying, it's not cool
real to me.
It's not cool to throw stones at one fandom. So yeah, I thought that was pretty fucking nuts.
That is in fact
that's
nuts.
A lot of
cashews.
Money. And again, the fact that horror movie was like, you know what?
You got it.
As much of a diamond as October the 13th is on a Friday,
I'm gonna have to sacrifice something.
I'm out of here. Yeah.
I might, man. Maybe,
and then just real brief, Barbie passed $1.342 billion, which was earned by Deathly Hallows Part 2. So it is now Warner Brothers' highest grossing film of all time.
Fuck yeah.
So they're definitely going to be trying to find a way to do that again.
Yeah, Barbie 2.
Yeah, which there's currently no plans for it. And Greta Gerwig even was like, just do the one and I'm good.
There's no need for a second one.
If she can figure out a good sequel, then maybe, but
I'm telling you,
as it stands, she's like, no.
They need to make it. They teased that it was that one old lady because she was like a tax evader or something like that. Yeah,
the woman who invented the
Barbie.
Barbie, yeah.
And I think it'd be cool to see something like that.
Yeah.
Like if you did that.
What was her name? Ruth Handler?
Yeah. Handler. Barely know her. So Ruth Handler.
Not a vaguely misogynistic joke while we're talking about the Barbie movie. Hey, we already said it was gas, okay?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's very good. We're just making jokes here.
Yeah, it's all in fun. At somebody else's expense. Nothing like punching down, So during an interview with Empire, Denis Villeneuve said that his dream would be to succeed in getting a Dune trilogy, with his third film adapting the book Dune Messiah. So he added, I will say there are words on paper. So he's written something of a third movie. So it sounds like the hope is there's a third movie, because the announcement of Dune Part 2's release date and all that had mentioned a potential trilogy, but it sounded really vague. So I think it's all very conditional of like, let's see how Dune Part 2 does. Because you figure Dune Part 2 was conditional to an extent, which is wild to me. That toddy hitting you?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw you biting that lip.
Yeah,
you're like a drunk girl, dude. You're just...
Because you're living in a material world, and I am a material girl.
So, talking about Dune Messiah, Denis Villeneuve says, Dune Messiah was written in reaction to the fact that people perceived Paul Atreides as a hero, which is not what he wanted to do, talking about the author, Frank Herbert. My adaptation of Dune is closer to his idea that it's actually a warning. So, because the whole premise is that Paul Atreides gains power and then turns into a not great person, and it's that idea of absolute power corrupting absolutely, And I think it's an interesting concept to make your lead somebody who follows their path and then ends up being not a good person.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, it kind of, especially because I've seen people compare it to like, this is more sci-fi fantasy, space fantasy, but I've seen people compare it to like The Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, seems like things like that, and like there's politics behind it,
sure,
it's higher fantasy stuff. There's a lot of world building, I suppose, that you're like, oh, okay, this is a whole world here. You know? It's not just society. It's so far in the future that it's alien. You know? And so I think it's interesting to take like the hero's journey of like, you know, Frodo or, you know, whatever, right? And then go, yeah, the hero, like, what if Frodo was a bad guy at the end? You know, when Frodo succeeds, he turns into the leader and is a bad person, right? And you're like, oh, shit, I've been rooting for this dude the whole time. You know? Yeah. And so I do think it's interesting to challenge that idea of, like, the hero story. And I'm cool with seeing the third movie be, here's the consequences of your actions, you know? I thought that'd be kind of interesting. So I hope that Dune Part 1's really good. I think it struggles being a Part 1 because it's a lot of setup. You know, and then it kind of...
You think the second one's going to be the meat?
Yeah. And so I think the first one struggles because it doesn't have the second one. You know what I mean? So it definitely feels incomplete because it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so hopefully Dune Part 2 does really well and we get a Dune Messiah.
There's not hope. That part in the fucking trailer. That's all I can think of from it.
Yeah. There's not hope. Variety is reporting that SAG has said negotiations on a video game contract have come to a stalemate. Oof. And that a strike will be their next best step.
Everyone's striking, bro.
Well, it's SAG. Yeah. They're going to be in 2 strikes at once. So they're pushing for a strike authorization. Because it's a separate contract from the AMPTP, it has to go to a vote. Like, hey, this contract is up now. It's not going well. We need to vote on it. And it sounds like it's some of the same beef. One of the things that they did mention, which I thought, yeah, that makes sense, is as the role that an actor plays in video games gets more and more physical and involved in actual acting.
Yeah, it's not just voice acting.
You know, some of the things that they want is like stunt safety, things like that.
I feel like that's pretty basic.
Sure, and like one of the things that they mentioned was apparently it's a common, not uncommon, for you to do stunts in your audition. And they were like, no, we're not doing that anymore. You're not going to do stunts in your audition because I'm not going to put my body on the line to not get the role.
Okay, for sure.
Right. And once I get the role, then we can talk about what does a stunt look like. Yeah. You know, but I'm not doing a stunt for a chance, right? And then do irreversible damage to my leg or whatever, and now I can't get any roles, right? So I think, okay, that's fair. And then AI was a big one because it's even more, you know, you can see the jump in video games much easier than you can in movies, you know, of like, yeah, they can easily just generate a voice, generate a face. We don't need an actor.
Ship it off, yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of spooky. I mean, you figure, I think about the footage that we saw of like, on the one hand, it's really cool. On the one hand, it's really spooky. Like how easily it would be for, like we talked about, you and I to do facial mocap with your phone and all that with the new Unreal Engine. There's a lot of technology to just generate a face. Yeah. You know? And then can you get somebody's likeness and things like that? And so, yeah, it's just a real weird, hairy thing of like, if that is, you know, say Ellie's face was more like Ashley Johnson's, do they have the rights to Ashley Johnson's face? Right. You know, and then they can just use her face in perpetuity? Who knows, right? And so that's one of the things that they were really banging on about was AI has got to be addressed. And it's just not getting addressed. And so they're like, well, we'll see you on the picket line. Yeah. The last time SAG struck against the video game industry was in October 2016, and it lasted nearly a year, like 11 months and some change.
I just don't understand because like AI will never be able to produce anything new.
Right.
It'll be recycled.
It's all derivative. Yeah. Right.
So
innovation, I mean, it kind of falls apart of like, you're not
like,
going to
get... What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, how are you just going to make a good game? Everyone's going to be like, I've seen that, done that.
Yeah. Right? Well, I mean, you figure, look at the state of movies and things like that, or even video games, where you get a lot of the same stuff because they go, that's safe. That worked. We're just going to do that again.
That made a lot of money, so people are going to love it this year.
Yes, we're just going to do it again. And then eventually you burn that out and you get stale. Look at superhero movies. You know, they've been underperforming lately because everybody's going, we've seen a superhero movie. We've seen superhero movies, you know. And I think you're going to look at Call of Duty, look at Assassin's Creed, where they're like trying to go back to the drawing board and figure something else out.
I feel like Assassin's Creed really started falling after Black Flag.
Yeah, I think Black Flag was good because it was innovative.
Yeah, it was. You're a pirate.
You're a pirate.
You had a whole pirate ship.
Ocean is a whole new thing for them. And then you figure they did a real big innovation with Origins, where now it's an open world RPG. Yeah. It was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, you know. But then that got stale really fast. You figure I played half of Odyssey and like some of Valhalla. But I 100%.
I watched you play Valhalla and it didn't look good.
No, it was pretty stale. Yeah. It had really good promise, but it didn't feel like Assassin's Creed. But yeah, so all of that to say, yeah, well, you know, Good on you, SAG. Get your money. SAG, get that bag.
Get your money up, not your
And
funny
that's
up.
the thing, is like they're not even, again, it's not get that bag, it's just get what you're owed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get a fair wage and be treated fairly.
That's all we're asking.
So the bad news from Sony, starting on September 6th. So any changes that you make to your PlayStation Plus subscription, so that's what, like the Essential, the Extra, and the Premium, I think, is the 3 tiers. I don't know if they're in that order or not.
I have the second one.
Yeah, I think I do too. So any changes that you make after September 6th will change your price to the new upped price that they've made.
Oh, shit.
And then after November 6th, any renewal will be at the new price. So this is for their 12-month subscriptions. So currently they stand at, in order of tier from lowest to highest, $59.99, $99.99, and $119.99 annually. They're going up to $79.99, $134.99, and $159.99 respectively. So increases by what? 20, 35, 40. And so like I said, if you're on the second tier and then after September 6th you decide to upgrade, right, to the higher tier,
$120
it'll be $160
a year
if you upgrade right now. And then after your renewal, any renewal that takes place after November 6th will be at the new price. So, you'll renew or do you do monthly or annually?
monthly.
So then I don't believe this affects you. This was only on the 12-month.
Thank God.
So on the PlayStation blog, they had a really brief, like, hey, here's the change. And then their explanation of the move was just, this price adjustment will enable us to continue bringing high-quality games and value-added benefits to your PlayStation Plus subscription service. So I do wonder if they're going to add, like, are they going to sweeten the pot at all?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. I just had a big, like, oh, yeah, moment. Like, I launched up my PlayStation, and I finally finished Survivor.
Yeah.
So, which we'll have to talk
You
about.
did beat it?
Yeah, I did beat it.
Yeah,
so
we'll talk
have
about
to
that.
talk
What you've
about
been
that.
thinking about.
And then I was like, well, like, I really don't have any other PlayStation games, and any other games I want to play, I can just play on my PC.
Yeah, but you
And
popped
then
onto the...
I popped on the PlayStation Plus, and I saw that Miles Morales is on there, and I haven't played that one.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo,
Yeah.
let's go and grab that.
Yeah.
And I started playing it. So, I mean, I like all the PlayStation
Yeah.
exclusives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we're in a sweet spot, you and I, and people like us, of having a high-end gaming PC and having a PS5. You kind of get your
Best of both worlds.
Get your cake and eat it too, because anything that comes out on Xbox also comes out on PC, and then you got the PlayStation exclusives. So you're kind of right in the shmoney.
Right in the money shot.
You figure we were worried about Starfield when Bethesda was acquired, and then we got our computers upgraded, and we're like, we're fine.
No fucking problem. No
Sweat.
shot.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me. The microphone hit my chest. Sony also revealed that the PlayStation Portal, which is their handheld streaming gaming service, or device, will be released in, quote, select markets. So don't know exactly what those are. It's the U.S. and Canada for sure, maybe the U.K. They're major markets, basically. On November 15th, and pre-orders are currently available at a retail price of $199.99, which I didn't think was bad for a Sony device. Sometimes their stuff they put out is like expensive. I look at PSVR. It's like PSVR is like the same price as a PS5, just about. And so it's like, can't justify that, man. But so for a handheld device to be
I remember the PSP.
Price, oh yeah,
Dude, that shit was gas.
I had a PSP.
Push and
Or,
pin.
no, what was it? Was a PS Vita? That was their second handheld that they made.
Well,
I didn't think it was as good. But I had a lot of friends that had PSPs. I was on that shit. Playing Grand Theft Auto. Was it Chinatown Wars?
I was playing Naruto something.
Yeah.
That was the big one. I'd play that in Battlefront.
And then there were a few God of War games that I played on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see here. Sorry, IGN actually. This is throw some credit there. They had a preview of the device, and they did have this to say, which kind of clarified for me a little bit what to expect from it. They say the Portal is unlikely to be someone's primary way to play PS5 games. That's what your TV is for. But for times when someone else wants to use the TV, or maybe you have small kids in the home and don't want to put God of War on the big screen, maybe you just want to be able to play in a different room without buying another full-on TV. In that scenario, the Portal offers a compelling use case. So basically, it's not a Steam Deck. It is it's streaming whatever's on your PS5 onto the Portal.
Okay.
So I don't know if the PS5 has to be on, if it can be in like the rest mode or whatever, but it sounds to me like you would have to be on a connection and the PS5 would have to be on a connection. I don't know if you have to be on the same connection or not. You know what I mean, to stream to it.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Steam Deck where it's just a computer in your hands. Mm-hmm. So it's not a true PlayStation Portable. I don't believe it. Doesn't sound like it, at least.
Which is fine. I don't think I'd want a PlayStation Portable.
You don't think so? Mm-mm. But so I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're in a scenario where that's useful here. But I could see, like, you know, if Morgan and I had kids or whatever, and I don't want to have another big TV upstairs or anything like that, and kids are down here watching TV or whatever, I could see if I could all just play on it in my office. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Right now, I don't see a use for it in my life.
Listen, I got the PS5, I got the Switch, and I got my computer. Like, I think...
Yeah.
I don't need anything else.
Yeah. I got my Steam Deck, dude. That Steam Deck's coming clutch for Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are able to sign out and sign on as somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I just signed her on as her and handed it off to her and said Godspeed. And she's been playing Baldur's Gate on there. Just getting stanky. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's in there fucking gating it up. Mm-hmm. Gating it up.
Oh, well.
So, at the time of recording, Starfield has yet to be officially released yet. Mm-hmm. It is still topping Xbox sales charts and garnering thousands of Steam users. So, the Premium Edition upgrade, which allows players to experience the game ahead of its September 6th release, is currently the best-selling item across the US and UK Microsoft stores.
Yeah.
So, people who have Xbox Game Pass, I think they pay $17.99 a month for a Game Pass. It's included in Game Pass, and then you could upgrade to that Premium Edition to get it early for, I think it was $35, basically.
Ain't bad.
So people are spending $35 to play it, you know, 5 days early. People are on Steam paying $100 for the Premium Edition.
Yeah, that was my big fat ass.
A couple of chumps. You
yeah,
and me, baby.
I even told you too. Like I'm
not gonna do it.
Yeah,
you and I both were like, yeah, fuck it, we're just.
Yeah, we're on Discord, and I was like, I can't justify it. Like, no, like I'm just gonna wait. It's a couple days. What the fuck's it gonna hurt? We got off, and I downloaded it that night. And I was like, I gotta get it.
It was like the fucking Goblin Mask, you know. When it's just on the dumpster talking to him, you know. No, please. Like, you're gonna do this for me. You're gonna play Starfield. No,
you're weak.
No,
no.
Kill Spider-Man. No,
get out of my head.
That was us. That was us. As soon as Akira. It was just we had to get in there.
I can't wait to talk about it.
So.
Let's bring it through.
Yeah. The game has received a mix of reviews, with it landing generally favorable in the 7 and 8 and 9 out of 10 range. So I think a lot of people had like 10 out of 10 expectations for it. And so a lot of people are coming up disappointed, I think.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, sorry, like it's not a 10 out of 10, but I do think it's been hurt a little bit because I've seen a lot of comparisons online. I think it's been hurt a little bit by the release of Baldur's Gate of like, that's a 10 out of 10 RPG.
Yeah.
Where you at, Bethesda? You know, it's been 8 years, whatever, right? And so people are like, if this didn't come out of 10 out of 10, what are you doing, right? So I do think it's been hobbled by that a little bit.
I saw someone tweeting about No Man's Sky, which made me think, how bad do you think No Man's Sky's hurting right now? Everyone's kind of dropping it for Starfield, because, I mean, essentially it was promised to be the upgraded version, more detailed.
Yeah, yes and no. I think there's things that Starfield does much better, but I also think there's things that No Man's Sky does much better. I think all the space stuff, No Man's Sky has it beat.
Yeah.
And then the RPG elements, which I don't think No Man's Sky promised to be an RPG. So I think the RPG stuff, I mean, yeah, if you like a Bethesda RPG, you'll like Starfield. Yeah. But don't go to Starfield looking for Bethesda's take on No Man's Sky, because it's not that. The space stuff, honestly, like we're going to do a quick little aside and talk about Starfield, I think. The space stuff kind of feels like an afterthought.
You think?
In their development, yeah.
Oh, I like the little, you could like change the engines and the shields.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's 1,000 planets to explore and things like that. It has the issue that No Man's Sky had at launch.
Yeah, it's just bleak.
With the added issue of it's not as easy to explore space in Starfield as it is in No Man's Sky.
Dude, it's fucking hard.
So many fucking menus and... Yeah, and loading screens and shit like that. No Man's Sky, you can just fly down to the planet's surface, check it out, and go, this looks like a fucking boring place, and just dip.
Yep.
Starfield, you gotta load, come in, pick a landing spot, land there.
Dude, I fucking hate that.
See that there's shit like 1,000 meters away in either direction and go, well, I'll run over that, and that's a fucking meteorite. And then you go, sick, and then you leave, right? The space is really disappointing. But the RPG stuff, the cities, dope as fuck.
They're cool.
I just got to Neon.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet, so don't say nothing.
It's a Neon City.
I know, but is it like Blade Runner?
Blade Runner, Cyberpunk, a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Bunch of strip clubs and stuff.
I haven't gotten that deep in yet, so I don't think so. But I mean,
I hope so.
They're like producing a drug there. It's like a pharmaceutical company owns the city.
Yeah, it's like a big corporation.
Mm-hmm. And so they are technically inside the Freestar?
Okay.
Alliance or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're independent.
All right.
So the only thing is like when you get there, the Freestar is like, yeah, we're going to check you for contraband, and then you get there, and now you're under the rule of Neon. So Neon's kind of like independent, but under the protection of Freestar. And so they produce this drug there that you're not allowed to take out of the city.
What is it?
It's called Aurora, I think, was what it was called.
I bet you it's worth a bunch of money.
Yeah, so I'm like, I wonder if there's I'm sure there's a mission to like be a smuggler. And shit.
That's my first thought.
Because as soon as I got there was somebody getting like the shakedown at the gate of like, what are you trying to do? Fucking leave the city with this, dude. You know better. Like, let's take you to jail, you know? And the guy's like, come on, I think we can figure this out. And they're like, we don't take bribes, buddy.
Hey,
so
from him.
Yeah, right.
You know, like my persuasion.
I got that motherfucking persuasion check.
Yeah, like I've been on it. Yeah. I've been on it.
Yeah, I'm a bard. Wait, just a space bard. You just fucking marshmallow. Yeah, and so with the apparent success of their space adventure, Bethesda has confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6, which was announced all the way back in 2018, mind you, has now entered, quote, early development.
Yeah, well, I know they came out and they said that they're working on something else before Elder Scrolls.
It was this.
Oh, yeah, it was Starfield.
Yeah, but, so it's kind of, it feels like, all right, so then you shouldn't have announced it in 2018.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they announced it basically at the same time as they announced Starfield, which seems like a weird move. When you've got them going the reverse, you figure, I remember when they announced Fallout 4, there was like something like maybe 7 months before release when they announced it, and that was fucking hype.
Yeah.
I remember the fucking website turned into a countdown for Fallout, and you were like, the fuck?
I remember getting that for Christmas. Like, that's right when it came out. It was around Christmas time.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the fucking website turned into a countdown. And when the countdown ended, it was a full trailer for Fallout 4. And I was like, and guess what, bitch? It's coming out in November. And it's like fucking May or something. You know what I mean? And you're like, what? Oh, my God. And then you've got the reverse of that where they're like, here's a really pretty tell-you-nothing splash screen that says Elder Scrolls 6. And guess what? You're going to have to wait like 12 years to play it. Yeah. And you're like, why even?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think it was they had themselves in a weird spot of they spent a lot of time on Fallout 76. Wasn't well received. And then they were like, all right, well, we're making a space game. So that's pretty dope. And everybody's like, all right. But where's Elder Scrolls? Like, it's been 7 years since you made Skyrim. And they were like, here's Elder Scrolls 6, bitch. And everybody's like, oh, my God. Not knowing it was going to be another 6 years before it went into development.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to me. That seems like a real big... That's going to make people more mad. And I have seen a lot of rage.
Yeah.
And then I think it's setting themselves up for hype that they can't meet, maybe. I think they fall into another Starfield where you're going to have a not insignificant number of people that go, this game has to be a 10 out of 10 to meet the expectations that I have for a game over 10 years in the making.
We got to move on because I want to talk about this a lot more and what you've been thinking about.
Okay. So, Knock at the Cabin.
Yes.
Is an M. Night Shyamalan film. Stars Dave Bautista. Old David Bautista. Basically, a family of three. What is it? It was Adam and Eric?
Andrew and Eric.
Andrew and Eric and their daughter, Wen, are just camping out at a cabin on like a little family vacation.
A little family retreat.
And then big old Dave Bautista walks up and starts chilling with Wen and his four of them. His three compatriots kind of start to walk up, and Wen gets bad vibes, runs inside, and is like, hey, Dad? Some weird motherfuckers outside.
And they didn't believe her.
Yeah, they were kind of
like, you're crazy, kid.
What are you talking about, you know?
I'm like, bro, if my kid came up to me, like, someone's trying to get in the house, I'd be like, where the fuck are they at?
Yeah. So that's the setup. Is there's a family of three at the cabin. These four people want to get in, seem to have ill intent.
But they're too vague.
Yeah, they're pretty vague. I think we just rate it.
Yeah.
And then just fully spoil it.
Yeah.
So how do we rate stuff?
So you can be overwhelmed, which means you thoroughly enjoyed the film. It surpassed your expectations. You can be underwhelmed, which means you didn't like the film. You didn't meet your expectations. It's quite the stinker. Or you can always be right in the middle and be simply whelmed.
You want 1, 2, 3 it or just?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, 1, 1.5. No, 1, 2, 3.
Underwhelmed.
Yeah, underwhelmed. I was thinking either simply whelmed or underwhelmed, but like if I'm simply whelmed, it's the bottom of simply whelmed.
I fell asleep.
Yeah, you did.
I fell asleep during it, bro.
Yeah, you also did get incredibly comfy over there.
Dude, you don't fucking.
You had a belly full of food on you, fucking feet up under a blanket, head on the pillow, fucking snoring, and I was like,
dude.
At first I thought it was the dog, so I listened for a minute, and then I like saw your mouth kind of just slacked, and I was like, Chris, like, not answering. I was like, Chris, and you're like, huh? I was like, you fucking sleeping over there? And you're like, no. I was like, I fucking heard you snoring. You're like,
I don't think you did.
Kind of straightened up a little bit. I better fucking lock it in. But to be fair, you also fell asleep at the theater watching Indiana Jones.
Come on, no. You ain't gotta expose me like that, bro. I'm just a sleepy boy. What do you want from
sleeping. Me? You sleep like an old man, dude.
I just can't hit that rim. I can't lick the rim.
Pardon?
I can't hit rem.
Oh, rem.
Yeah, rem.
I can't hit the rim. I was like, what the fuck are you saying to me right now?
I can't lick it, you know?
I was like, is this some slang that the kids are using nowadays? Can't hit the rim. I'm like,
it's the rim.
It's the rim. You know. So anyways, it's a pretty brisk film, all in all. I didn't feel like a drug or anything. It was just, I kind of felt like nothing happened.
Yeah,
but everything happened.
They came in, they're like, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, here's fucking Malfoy. Here's Ronald Weasley. Here's Batista, the wrestler. And then 2 women that I recognize the cook vaguely, but I don't know why.
I wouldn't know why.
And I didn't recognize the nurse at all. So, kind of, whatever, right? But all of that to say, basically they're like, they spent a lot of time like beating around the bush, being like, we're going to make you guys make an impossible choice. And we're sorry about that. But they like introduce themselves. Yeah, they like introduce themselves. Here's who I am, things like that. You start to unravel that basically they've all 4 had premonitions of sorts, or they claim to have had visions of sorts of the end times. And coming to this cabin, one of the family members is going to have to die by the hands of the family. They get to pick who that sacrifice is going to be, but it has to be them doing it, basically.
And you can't commit suicide.
Yeah, you can't commit suicide. You have to be killed by a family member. And basically, Batista can't like pick one of the husbands up and snap his neck. Mm-hmm. It has to be them picking somebody and killing them, or else the world's going to end. There's going to be floods.
Yep.
And then a plague.
Yep. Disease.
And that's a plague.
Yeah, you're right.
And then the sky's going to fall like shards of glass, was how they described it. And then the last thing was God's hand or God's fingers will scorch the earth. Yep. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. You guys are fucking insane, right? And so, like, I think that was... So we're going to sound backwards, or at least I will. Last week we complained about M. Night Shyamalan always having a twist and that kind of working against him.
Yep.
I don't really think there was a twist in this movie.
No, I think that
worked against him. He just didn't pull it off in this one. No. This one needed a twist of some kind. Yeah. It didn't have to be like a hard handbrake turn, but it needed to have like an extra wrinkle at the end.
Yeah.
Or they keep you in the dark longer.
Yeah.
Where basically very quickly in the movie, they kind of start to prove that they're right. Mm-hmm. And it made it really hard for you to not believe them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where like Rupert Grint, who plays, what did he say his name is? Redmond? He's the first one. Basically, if you guys refuse, we're going to unleash a plague on the earth. And they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to fucking kill one of our family members.
Rupert, he killed himself.
Oh, Rupert Grint. He didn't have a bad Boston accent.
No.
I didn't feel like his Britishness poked through at all. But yeah, he fucking takes a knee.
Why does he always play like mean characters, I've noticed? He always plays like a dick.
I mean, I really only know him for Ron Weasley. What else has he been in?
I've seen him in this, and then he was in something else. I can't remember, but again, his character was just very much like a dick. Just like, what an asshole.
I don't know, maybe he's good at it.
I guess so.
Yeah, because he was kind of a fuck in this.
Yeah.
Convincingly, like, God, what a prick. Oh, I did want to mention, like, when they first get into the cabin, Eric and Andrew do a pretty good job of defending the castle.
Yeah.
Of like, we got to barricade the doors, lock them, everything down. They don't have weapons with them, really. So they took the fire pokers and stuff of like, all right, here's a hard, cast iron, weapon of sorts. Pointed spear and, hook. fucking Andrew is just beating the fuck out of Rupert Grint, out of Redmond. He is just popping him lefts and rights, and he's just taking him too.
Yeah, he's
like he didn't even have his arms up. He's just fucking rocking his head side to side, stumbling backwards with a bloody nose. And I was like, my God, he's giving him the shots, dude.
Giving him the business.
And then finally fucking Batista steps in and just baps him.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this is getting bad. But, yeah, he really was giving him the fucking number, dude. You and I both were like, my God.
Holy shit.
he's going to kill this man.
Yeah, he's going for him.
And, yeah, and they do quickly reveal that there is a gun with them, but it's out in the car.
Yeah, in the trunk.
In the trunk. Yeah, and so it's like, oh, well, that doesn't really do any good in here. So he's like, all right, well, whatever. They get tied down. They refuse. Rupert Grint gets down on a knee, fucking puts on, looks like a bookcase, you know, like the book covers. The
Yeah,
little, like, stretchy
like Batman.
ones. Yeah. He kind of looked like a Klan member.
Oh,
just a little white hood on his head.
We always get like the black ones and stuff like that, and they have the 2 ears. Like
Yeah.
The points.
Yeah. Pulls it down over his head, and you're like, and he's like yelling at them to look at him.
Yeah.
And then he says something about like, I'm fucking scared, man. Look at me. And they're like, okay, what? And then the two ladies just step out and chop him in the head with their weapons. And then Batista steps up and chops his head off with an axe.
And then throws up.
Yep. They throw him outside, cover him with a blanket of some kind, and everybody pukes and gathers themselves, and then is like, let's go get that fucking TV on, huh? So they turn the TV on, news shows, fucking earthquakes, massive tsunami hitting like the Washington, Oregon coast, and like a big fucking tsunami, like a 50-foot wave.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn, that's a big ass wave.
That's a huge wave.
So that wasn't very cash money, and you're like, oh, okay, well that's the first. They did say there'd be floods and tsunamis and shit, so maybe they're right. You know, Eric has a concussion.
Yeah,
because when they first broke in, he was tripped.
They dropped his ass.
Yeah, he was fighting the nurse, and he knocked her down, and then she tripped him with her weapon, and he bashed his head on the floor
hard.
Yeah, which you figure that happens a lot in fights and stuff. When you punch somebody and they fall, they can die just from bouncing off the concrete.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, easy to accidentally kill somebody in a fist fight. Yeah, so he is concussed, and Eric's all worried about that they might be right. Andrew's over here like, you stick with me, baby. We're gonna be all right. Yeah, we're gonna be all right. And then basically, yeah, once they kind of show the hand, I was like, okay, maybe there's still a gimmick here, right? But then after, who's the second one? The cook.
Yeah, the nutritionist.
She goes the same way. She fucking gets down on her knees. They chop her, and then fucking all of a sudden, here's a fucking disease that's outbreaking, you know, and is filling the hospitals up. It was very COVID-esque, you know. And, yeah, except it's affecting kids, and it's like, oh, man, you know, the fucking kids are dying from plague.
And the people are just dropping like flies.
Yeah. And she's like, all right, I think they might be right, you know. And it's like, all right, come on, guys. And they really drug out this, like, but there's got to be, you know, it's got to be a lie, right?
Yeah.
And then both dads fucking stage a breakout, right? Because Wen gave Eric a knife, so he's been cutting his rope, and Andrew's been wiggling his wrist enough that he's kind of loose. And so they, you know, Wen makes a distraction, starts screaming and crying, and Batista's over there like, we're going to count down backwards from 5, okay? You know, he's trying to calm
What a
her
gentle
down.
giant.
Yeah, because he's a kindergarten teacher, wasn't he?
Second
grade teacher. And so he's like, Wen, we're going to count down from 5 together, okay? And he starts 5, 4, and she's still screaming. He's like, all right, let's try again, you know. And he's trying to reason with her. And that gives Andrew plenty of time to fucking get himself loose, bust out, gets out there.
He sneaks out.
Yeah, he kind of sneaks out, and the nurse catches him, runs up, busts his fucking knee
kneecap,
with like a fucking sledgehammer to the back of his knee. And you're like, oh!
And yeah, she's like, I'm sorry, I just did that to stop you.
I did the knee just to stop you. Like, I'm trying to, you know... She's trying to explain why she's hurting him. Yeah. He fucking like throws pocket sand on the bitch, just hits her right in the face with sand. And I was like, yep, that's. I even asked, I was like, was that fucking pocket sand? And you're like, sure it was. And so he gets in the car, fucking crawls through the back, is getting in there. She busts out the fucking back window, and it's like stabbing him in the side.
Yeah, she's got a knife taped to the back, like the bottom of it, like the bottom of the sledge.
Yeah, and so she's stabbing him in the side, and as he's fiddling with the fucking safe,
he's just taking them.
Yeah, and he's loading up his mag for his pistol, which that kind of annoyed me. Why wasn't if it's already in the safe? Why wasn't the mag loaded? You know what I mean?
Can you have it loaded?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends. They were in Pennsylvania. I'm sure you can. If it's in the back and in a safe. You know what I mean? Is it considered readily available? I don't know. Either way, yeah, it was like, why isn't the gun loaded already?
Yeah.
It's already secured in a safe. But either way, so he's sitting there loading up the mag, and I was like, let's just load like 2 rounds.
That's all you need.
Turn around, pop the bitch, and then finish loading the mag.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he took like 4 shanks.
He's like, well, I mean, it says it holds 13, so he's loading all the rounds, and he does fire a warning shot, like past her head, and she freaks out, and he's like, "Fucking leave, bitch!" And she's like, "Copy."
I'm out of here.
Drops her weapon and runs off into the woods. So he's like, "All right." So he fucking goes back inside. Yeah, he's like, "It's a fucking stick up." Dave Bautista's like, "Oh, all right, well, everybody just fucking relax now," you know. And fucking the nurse, I can't think of her name, just like in a Hail Mary, just comes storming into the back door, screaming.
And then pop, pop.
Yeah, he fucking hits her with a one tap right in the gut. Mm-hmm. She just drops dead, and Batista's like, "Fuck!" Walks over and just chops her head off with the goddamn axe. Mm-hmm. And the husbands are like, "What the hell?"
He's like, "I ain't got a choice in this."
I got a choice, man.
And he did a really good job of like showing like he takes no pleasure in doing that, like whatsoever.
Yeah, like this is what has to be done, you know. And there was a very interesting wrinkle that they added that I thought, oh, okay, maybe there is going to be something here, and then it just was nothing, which I really feel is a strange thing. The movie kind of does a thing of like flashing back to moments in their life as a family, where you see like Eric and Andrew having dinner with Andrew's parents, and you can tell that they don't seem very accepting. They're kind of there for like 45 minutes and then leave. He makes a comment like they drove 7 hours to stay for 45 minutes. And then one of the flashbacks is like them adopting Wen from presumably China, it seems. And then we see them at a bar when they're discussing the adoption process. Somebody rolls up on them and is kind of like, "Hey, will you guys shut the fuck up?" You know? And they're like, "Are we being loud?" You know? And the guy's like, "Just shut the fuck up." And then you kind of get the vibe like, okay, he doesn't like what they're talking about, right? It's definitely a homophobic thing. And Andrew says something to the effect of like, "How about you just go back to your fucking seat, dude?" Like, and the guy's like, "Fuck you guys," and he walks off, you know. And he comes storming up behind Andrew and bashes him in the head with a beer bottle, and then picks up another beer bottle and bashes him again. And like, beer bottles are actually hard.
Oh yeah, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah, you'll hospitalize somebody with that. And you see him getting the glass pulled out and probably stitches and stuff. And he talks about needing therapy and shit. And then you get a nice little montage of him basically like never again kind of attitude. Yeah. And you see him at the gym just laying into a boxing bag and training and things like that. And you're like, there's that boxing. He was beating Andrew's ass.
Yeah, he was
beating Redmond's ass.
Giving him the business.
Yeah. Well, the reveal is that he's very certain that Redmond was that guy that went to jail. Because Redmond even said something about like,
he's done time.
At a bar in Boston. He took some time and things like that. The bar in Boston was where that happened. And so he's like, that was O'Bannon or whatever the guy's name was.
Different beard, a little heavier now.
Yeah, but that's the guy. And they're like, no, this is all random. And he's like, no, this is targeted. Yeah. Like, you know. And he's thinking, I bet it was that guy's idea that you guys all came here, and he's taking advantage of you guys. And because he's like, a human rights lawyer. And so he's trying to build this case that, like, you guys are having a shared delusion, and he's taking advantage of you and convinced you guys to come here and do this. You know, and he's terrorizing us because we put him in jail. Right. And they're like, no. And then when he pulls out the guy's ID, he goes and gets Redmond's ID, and it's that guy. Yeah. And so I thought, oh, shit, he was right. And then no, that just doesn't go anywhere.
It was just
what a coincidence. Yeah, no, it was the guy.
Oh.
Yeah, the ID was O'Bannon. Oh. So it was him.
Yeah, and I thought it wasn't him.
No, it was. And then that just didn't matter. So it was just what a weird coincidence that the guy that...
I mean, too late now, I guess. Yeah. He's dead.
The guy that gay bashed them at the bar is then...
just got gay bashed by Batista. Like, what do you want? You know, like, don't be saying shit like that, and that shit won't happen to you. If you say homophobic shit, we should just start bashing your heads in. That makes the most sense to me.
We're not calling for violence. We're not inciting violence.
We are. Not. You patriots.
Fight like demons. Fight like hell.
Butchie, baby. No, this is the first time I've heard of this. That's my favorite fucking meme right now.
Oh, man. Anyways. So Redmond you find out that Redmond is the guy that, like, beat him up in the bar. And then it just didn't matter, which is really weird. And then finally Batista is just like, well, look at the time. Let's step out on the back porch for me, yeah? I'm going to kill myself. And when I do, you guys are going to have a very short window of opportunity to stop the final apocalypse. Because basically the stakes are, if they don't do this, the end of the world will happen, and they will live. So it'll just be the three of them on Earth, right? And so that's not cool, right? But then you also don't want to kill your family members, whatever, right? And and so they send Wen to go play in the treehouse with her music on and kind of chat with Batista. And then Batista kills himself, slits his throat. Lightning strikes start just lighting the forest on fire and shit. Old Eric and Andrew have a nice conversation heart to heart where they're trying to decide which one to do it. And Eric's kind of like, you should probably kill me.
Yeah.
And Andrew's like,
no.
And Eric's like, yeah, but you should. And he's like, all right. No. Then he kind of tells him what he pictures the future would be for Wen and him. And it's kind of a nice little sweet moment. And then you just hear pop, pop, where Andrew shoots Eric. And he goes
You just hear him yell, Riverside, motherfucker! And then just pop, 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 pop. He fucking empties a clip on him.
Yeah. You hear him reload.
Yeah.
Like, he's dead. He's dead. A lot of pent-up anger in that relationship. But,
Riverside, motherfucker.
The Don sends his regards. What? It's now a mob hit?
Yeah.
But, was it leave the gun, take the cannoli?
Yeah, leave the gun, take the cannoli.
And so he fucking goes and gets Wen out of the treehouse, and she's like, did Daddy Eric save the world? And Andrew's kind of like, starts crying.
Breaking down.
Yeah, gets in, hugs her. And then it does this really weird thing where, like, even the way the ending is filmed feels like there's going to be a last reveal.
Like something.
Yeah. And so, like, they go get the truck. It again confirms, like, all these people were telling the truth.
Yep.
They drive to a diner.
They came to the conclusion that they're the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
What was it? The one cook was the
nurturing as opposed to... Because they're kind of like the antithesis of the horsemen, where, like, she feeds people versus, famine. Mm-hmm. And then, what was Leonard, wrath? Or was he death?
Leonard was guidance.
Guidance, which I don't know what his... What he would be the opposite of. Because then you've got disease, which was the nurse, and I don't remember what the other two... Like, one of them would have been war, which was maybe...
Rupert?
Yeah, maybe Redmond. And then you've just got death, which I guess would be maybe...
Batista?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
See, it doesn't make fucking sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of a thin thread there. But then, they pull up on this diner, and they go in, and a bunch of people are watching the TV, and there's basically just intercutted news footage of, like, all these apocalypses just stopped. And they're like, oh, shit, I guess it worked. And then they get in the car and they leave.
Yeah, and then he finds out, because the whole time they're kind of questioning if they are who they really are.
Yeah, and they find their bags and shit. And
he finds their bag, and he brought his second grade plaque that he got for, like, Teacher of the Year or something like that, and all his kids signed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, boo.
Yeah, heavy. Tough.
Hate to see it.
So, yeah, I mean, it felt kind of drawn out at the end there.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, made it feel like there was going to be
Where's the punch?
A twist. Because I think one of two things had to happen. Either you don't believe them for the whole movie, and then the reveal at the end is that they were telling the truth.
But, like, I don't know, like, halfway through it, you're like, all right, yeah, they're probably telling the truth.
Yeah, very early on, you're like, it seems like they're telling the truth.
They ain't messing around.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, like, I thought maybe they would pull, like, the fog, or is the mist.
The mist.
And that they didn't get it on time.
That would have been good. That would have been a good twist.
If, like, the apocalypse still happens.
What the fuck are we doing? We need to be writing shit down. All right, we need to be making shit. We need to be making phone calls.
Except our ability is to take a mostly finished product and then tweak it. So we need to be script doctors is what we need to be.
Yep.
Where we take mostly okay, yeah, there's a lot of promise here, but you need to do this.
Yep.
Right? So that's what we could do. We could be script doctors.
That's right. Call me doctor.
I'm the love doctor. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was underwhelming. It was
all right. I probably won't watch it again.
Yeah. If we go by our metric of if depending on how you can, follow our ranking system, if underwhelming means bad, it was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. If underwhelming means that it didn't even meet your expectations, then I would say this was simply whelming.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because this met my expectations. I expected it to be mid as fuck.
Yeah. It was just not good.
No. Didn't like it. Mm-mm. Like I didn't hate it, which is why I was first feeling simply whelmed, but I disliked it more than I liked it.
Agreed.
I agree with you. Underwhelmed. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Check it out. It's included in your Prime, but you're not missing anything.
No.
Yeah, I don't think there's like
some time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing in it that I'm like, that makes it worth the time.
Yeah,
Because there's not even a part that like I'd YouTube that. You know what I mean?
yeah, no.
Maybe just the clip of
Rupert.
Andrew beating the shit out of Redmond.
Yeah.
Like seeing him lay the fucking body shots,
fucking
the head
giving it
shots
to
on
him.
him. He was working his ass over.
Hard work.
Pop, 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 pop. Yeah. So I don't know. Didn't like it. Wasn't great. What you been thinking about, Chris?
Actually, what I think you meant to say is, welcome back to Chris's Scripted Corner. I'm your host, Chris. I kind of just want to talk about Starfield. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was thinking about it, and then we started talking about it, and I was like, we're just leading.
Yeah, maybe we're going to actually just do what you've been thinking about.
Yeah.
And just do a long... We're both thinking about Starfield, and just it in general.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's just talk about that then.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's what we're both thinking about. You start, man.
Yeah, so I mean...
First impressions. First of all, how far in are you? Like, time-wise?
I am currently...
Because I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
I'm level 5.
You're only level 5?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I haven't been using my skill points, and I know when you use your skill points, they give you experience. Because I used one, and then I was like level 4, and I was like, oh, weird. I just haven't used them. But also, I've been doing a lot more exploring than anything else.
Sure. Yeah, because I'm fucking level 8.
I could be a higher level. I don't know. Last I checked, I was level 5.
Man, that'd be surprising.
But so, yeah, some of the perks that I choose, so you can obviously like pick factions.
Right. Yeah.
We've talked about the game. If you listen to the show, you know where we're at. And so far, I'm with, the Collectors Guild? No.
The Constellation?
Constellation.
Yeah. The Collectors Guild.
Basically, dude, they collect artifacts. That's all they've been doing.
Yeah, they're basically Indiana Joneses, but space.
It belongs in a museum!
No,
it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It belongs with
where
the
it
people
originated
that
from.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? Who had the idea for an Indiana Jones movie where it's somebody putting the stuff back?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember what we were watching, but somebody had that idea.
And I was like,
We were like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. What if Indiana Jones is the bad guy in this?
Yeah. So whoever had that idea, we want to give them credit, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was like maybe a YouTube video or a podcast. I don't
something
remember.
like that.
But somebody had the idea for that, and that's a good idea. Anyways.
And so you can pick some perks, and some of the 3 perks I picked was a bounty hunter, right?
So that's your background.
Or my background, I chose a bounty hunter, which gives me a boost in piloting, which I think is definitely coming to play, because I'd be pulling some hardcore maneuvers, and I'm just kick ass at flying this bitch.
So that could be. Because, I struggle in the space combat. So, yeah, and I didn't take that kind of a perk, so.
I think I've only blown up in the ship once.
Yeah. I told you, I kind of got stuck in a save loop. Of, like, when it auto-loads me back in.
They just melt you.
So I had to, like, hold my finger over tab, and as soon as I loaded in, hit tab to get to the map, and then jump.
When were you able to customize your ship? Because I haven't been able to do that. Like, at what point? Did you hit a certain part, or was it just always readily available?
It's available if you just go to when you dock somewhere. So, like, at a city.
New Atlantis. Let's just say New Atlantis.
Yes, yeah. When you go to New Atlantis, and the guy's there like, hey, your ship's here, or whatever, If you talk to him, I think the first option is, like, pay 1,000 credits to repair your ship. And then the second option is, like, I want to view and modify my ships.
I'll be fucking doing that before I go to bed.
Yeah, and you can just do whatever you want. It costs money, and I think there's some things that are locked behind different skills and stuff.
Oh my god.
Where it's like, well, you don't have this skill, so you can only have 2 weapons instead of 3 different weapon types and things like that. But yeah, you can upgrade your ship.
I've been seeing a bunch of stuff for money glitches. But it was like, but you can't win achievements for it. And I was like,
right,
I've never been an achievements man. Like, they don't really mean nothing to me in a game.
Yeah, if you use cheats, the game says, well, you're locked from achievements.
Which is fine. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun with the game. That, to me, is what's most important.
Yeah.
But the cheat's not working, and it's really making me mad. But it's supposed to give you billions of credits.
That doesn't feel fun, though.
I just want to do it for the spaceship. I wouldn't spend it on anything else.
Yeah.
I would just strictly do it for the ship modification.
Yeah,
I want to make the Falcon.
Yeah.
I saw one.
Somebody made the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah. I've seen one. They made the Falcon and the X-Wing. I'd like to see a Y-Wing. I think that one would be super realistic, too, because I always thought the Y-Wing looked pretty, like, if something were to be high-tech like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Millennium Falcon seems a little far-fetched, but the Y-Wing.
Yeah.
No.
I like the idea of the bombers being...
The A-bombers or V-bombers?
V-bombers.
The little red ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah. And I like the idea of, like, having the bombs on a rig that, like, they kind of get conveyor belted shot out, so that way they have momentum moving, It's like, how do you do a bomber in ZRG? You just give it a little push,
Yeah.
And
then they just
don't stop until they hit something. That makes me think there's a really good, like, while we're talking about space RPGs, in one of the Mass Effects, there's a really good, like, background where you're, like, people are having conversations as you walk, and there's like a drill sergeant of sorts talking to new recruits, and he's holding up a round, and he's like, this is, or it's at his feet, this is a, whatever pound, like this is a 2-ton tungsten core round with uranium coating, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, every time you pull the trigger, one of these fires off, and he goes, he's rattling off like, Newton's first law of motion is, it's whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second law of motion is this. He goes, which translates to, anytime you fire one of these things, it is going to be a bad fucking day for somebody somewhere, so you'd better hit your target, because it just doesn't stop. When you fire the trigger, it's going to hit something eventually. Mm-hmm. Someone somewhere is going to have a bad fucking day. Yeah. So you better make sure that you're on target. It's like, that's a weird like ethics thing of like, yeah, you got to make sure you're hitting your target, because
especially in space, because if not,
you're going to hit something.
I mean, you could even potentially create a black hole, maybe. But
I think it's more just a case of like, what if you hit an inhabited planet and you're just having a fucking day, and all of a sudden, but anyways,
that'd be a bad day.
Yeah, it's a bad fucking day. Yeah, so Starfield.
And then some of my other perks are Family Man. So I got my parents, and I went and visited them.
Kid stuff, I think.
Kid stuff.
Yeah, I've got that one too.
And I went and visited them, and they look kind of like me. So I thought it was going to be like generated to the customizations that I pick.
I don't think so.
I had a buddy at work who said like his looked slightly different, so I imagine it's probably just with your hair and some of your features on your face.
Maybe. Probably like skin color, hair color.
Yeah. But when I was talking to them, they were like, giving me all the options of like what to say.
Yeah.
And one of them is just to say, because my dad is sitting there and he's like,
basically you're paying your parents
2% every week of what you have to help with their retirement.
Their rent. Yeah.
And my dad's like, son, we really wouldn't be able to have a place like this if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, and one of your
thank
options
you, and I
is
love
like,
you.
I'm cutting you off.
And you can tell them, I'm just cutting you off, man. I didn't have the heart, but
yeah, and then you lose the perk too, and it's kind of nice because if you decide not to go with Constellation or anything like that, you can sleep at their apartment. Yeah, and so you kind of have a house on Constellation or on New Atlantis.
New Atlantis. I have. And then my other one is a Dream Home. I haven't seen that fucking house yet. I want to.
Well, go to it.
I don't know how. I don't know how to get to that planet.
Yeah.
Because it keeps sending me one that like I just can't get on. It's like some planet that starts with an N, like Nisoi.
Have you been able to get to the planet? Is it saying, is the system red?
No. Like it just doesn't pull up. Like I've been looking. I'll check again tonight. I'll let y'all know. Like, I'll give you an update. But I thought it was because you have to pay that $125K before you can get to it.
Let's just talk. Like, what do you feel? How do you feel about the game?
It's a lot of fun.
What do you like? What do you dislike?
The things I really like is how you can adjust like the thrusters on the engine and like shield.
Sure. Yeah. Like your power allocation.
That feels very Star Wars like to me.
Yeah, it just feels spacey. Yeah.
And so like there was a.
Yeah, I mean, you figure it's even a Star Trek trope of like I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. Or like more power to the engines.
But so like if you hold space, you can do thrusters, but you can also like hard brake that way.
Yeah.
And so I was fighting a bunch of pirates, and I like zoomed right past them, and then just cut down all my speed on my engines, and just boosted up my shields, lasers, and missiles. Thrusted and turned around, just started firing upside down, just killing all of them. And that was like, oh my god, I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, I did have a really good, space combat where I pulled like a full Millennium Falcon, where I was being chased by the guy, and I shifted to do the boost and pulled up, so I came up behind him, and then I really pulled way back on the speed so that I could tightly flip and was behind him and just started lighting his ass up. And I was like, I'm spacing? Yeah. I'm doing the space?
Fucking Han Solo.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. I've been really adopting the bounty hunter role. I've been doing a lot of missions for the bank to go collect debt.
Have you been to Sidonia? It's the mining.
Yes.
Did you talk to the woman there who was a bounty hunter?
No.
You should go back because she's actually like you can do bounty hunter jobs for her.
Word.
So you can do actual bounty hunting.
That'd be cool. That'd be what's up.
And there's a guy there. Did you talk to the guy?
I didn't talk to anyone.
All right. Well, then no. You need to go back then if you're doing a lot of exploration, especially going to other planets and shit. Because there's a guy there in the bar who's like sitting at a table with a bunch of papers around him. And if you talk to him, surveying planets, he'll pay you for, And then also, because you're trying to find habitable planets for him, he works for a company called List, and I forget what it all stands for, but basically they're a colonization company.
Okay.
Where if you're looking for a place to settle, we're your folks, right?
Yeah.
And so then you can also recruit people to sign up for List,
Yeah.
and then you'll get paid commission for the people that sign up to colonize. So if you're going around exploring, I mean, the earlier you get that, the better, because then you can just, as you meet somebody, be like, oh, hey, yeah.
By the way,
you seem like you'd be interested in this, and then if they sign up, you get money. So you need to go back to Sidonia,
no,
the Mars colony.
I'm trying to think what else I've been really doing.
Yeah. So you enjoy the space combat.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the cities?
The cities are fine. I think my biggest complaint is there's no mini map.
Yeah.
And like I can't find shit. I had to look up a YouTube video just to go to one of the stores. And it's like I can't.
I'm gonna give a lot of I'm giving credit to IGN again. I'm not like riding their dick or anything. But when I was looking at one of my articles, they were talking about Starfield. Apparently, they have like interactive maps and stuff. So you might go to IGN, like look up Starfield interactive maps, and they'll have a map for you that'll like show you a map of here's New Atlantis and things like that.
Okay. I'll probably do that.
Because like I'm gonna do that because I've got the second monitor. I'm gonna pull it up on my second monitor.
Aren't you fucking fancy?
Yeah, I am, motherfucker.
Whoa.
Goddamn son of a bitch.
Huh?
Whoa. I call you ugly. You're like, what? Oh, damn. Yeah, so so you like the cities.
Yeah.
But just the map is confusing.
Yeah, the loading screens didn't bother me as much as I thought it would as far as like getting into the ship, but there are a lot.
There's a lot.
There are a
loading
lot
screens.
of cutscenes. And
I've seen a lot of people complaining about just load screens in general.
They just take forever. It's
and
like
it's
GTA.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people are like, I've seen a lot of people comparing like Cyberpunk, which I think is a fair comparison of like,
I mean, they're both space.
Large futuristic RPG first person,
Yeah.
And they're like, even at launch, like Cyberpunk had a bunch of bugs and issues like that, felt incomplete, but there was a lot of areas that you could just access. You didn't have to go through a loading screen to go into this building and go to this place. And pretty much every place that you go to that's not like an open air building is a load screen.
Yeah.
Even stores on New Atlantis.
Yep.
You go up, if the doors are closed, it's a load screen. Mm-hmm. And it's like, come on, guys.
What the fuck?
Like, you build a whole new engine.
Yeah.
It's next gen. It's
Why
on.
is it taking this long to load?
I have a fucking solid state drive in this PC. I shouldn't have to be sitting there looking at a load screen. Mm-hmm. Just load that shit.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird that, like, and again, that's one of my big gripes with space is the exploration just feels so restrictive. Like we talked about, you pick a landing spot, and this isn't like this. I've seen a lot of people talking about this. This isn't like that's an interesting take. You know what I mean? But like, you can land on a planet at this spot, and then you only have a predetermined radius around your landing spot that you can go investigate.
It's like a grid.
Yeah, and so you've got a predetermined area that you can search, and most of the time there's not much in that area. And if you do find something, like I said, it's like a meteorite, or you might find it. I found a cave, and the cave was empty.
Bust.
And I was like, cool. Sick. And so then I just fast traveled back to my planet, or to my ship, and I left.
I will say fast travel is pretty nice in this.
Yeah. Yes and no. There's no, like, it's strange. It doesn't have a detailed map, which is really weird to me.
No.
That, like, with it being futuristic, why do you not have a topographical map?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels really weird. It feels wanted. Most RPGs,
Do you think they're going to come out with updates that potentially fix that?
I don't know. I don't know if this will be a ongoing project or not.
Oh, you think they're done with it?
I think for the most part, yeah. I mean, Bethesda's not really. They might put out expansions. I mean, there's at least one story expansion for sure.
But I know they said that they're going to make it very moddable. So I feel like I hope that the people will fix it.
Sure, but that shouldn't be their responsibility.
I agree.
That is a big problem that I think Bethesda games in general have an issue with. One of the nice things about it is they're moddable, but one of the bad things about it is that the mods make it so much more fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not the game itself, it's the mods that make the game fun.
Yeah, where you're like, there's a lot of potential here. Once we mod it, oh shit, it's a whole new game now, So it's like, yeah, they're good at giving you the skeleton. Mm-hmm. That's why I think, like, Skyrim was really good. I never felt the need to mod Skyrim too much. I have modded it.
Mm-hmm. You and I have modded it so we can play together.
Yeah. Fallout 4 definitely was
modded.
Yeah, I've modded the shit out of it. And then, like, New Vegas didn't need mods, but it's so much fun with mods. I think the mods help with it being an old game to, like, make it fresh again. But yeah, Starfield, I don't know. I really like the RPG elements. Skills are kind of whatever.
Yeah, I noticed with a lot of skill points, you have one for, like, persuasion, and then you have to do a certain amount of things
to, like,
before you
rank
can.
it up.
And I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then I shouldn't have to spend a skill point on it.
Right. Yeah. And so that's, I think they went between, it's kind of I saw somebody, I think maybe it was Game Ranks, made the comparison that it's like a middle ground between the Fallout games and Skyrim, where like in Fallout, you just spend the skill point to get, level 3 robotics or whatever. And in Skyrim, you just level up by just doing the thing, right?
Which makes
the most sense, that you don't just like all of a sudden have a eureka. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just you get better at it as you do it. And you might take character traits and things like that to give you an affinity towards it. He picked it up really well, and things like that. So that's pretty natural. Yep. I think this probably would have benefited from that because it is a game where you're just going to go and do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm flying a lot, I should get better at flying. I shouldn't have to but I haven't leveled. I decided to level up my combat instead, or my stealth or my persuasion. So I'm just a shitty pilot, even though I spend most of my time flying. Mm-hmm. It's a weird. Yeah, I wish they'd have gone more Skyrim-y.
My guy looks pretty damn close to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent some time making him look like me.
I did really like the character customization.
It was good.
It was
intense. A lot.
Yeah, there was a lot to it, which was cool. I did like the inclusion of backgrounds.
Yes.
Like you said, you took Bounty Hunter. I think I took Bouncer. Some guy's kind of a fighter, a brawler. But something that I thought maybe they'd use was in Outer Worlds. Mm-hmm. Outer Worlds is actually made by Obsidian, which is who made New Vegas. Outer Worlds has a system where you can gain drawbacks as well through experience. Where if I'm fighting a lot of insect enemies and I consistently get damage from them, my person can gain insectophobia, where now anytime I'm fighting insects, my guy gets a debuff. Mm-hmm. But then that gives you, anytime you gain a negative, a debuff like that, you also gain a perk point to put into something. So it's a trade of now anytime I fight insects, I'm going to be afraid, but I'm really good at my combat, so I can kind of try and balance it out. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was interesting. And then you can get a fear of heights, where if you take a lot of fall damage, your character gains the fear of heights of shit, I'm getting really nervous, I'm going to fall again, you know? And so I thought, that's a really interesting...
Yeah, that's cool.
And I wanted to see something like that in this, where innovate a little bit, on the RPG. And I don't think I think that's probably my biggest gripe about the game. I do enjoy it. It sounds like I'm complaining. You've been very positive on it, so I'm trying to balance it out.
Yeah, it sounds like you're complaining.
I spent $100 to play it early.
Yeah, so did I.
And I don't think I'm getting $100 out of it.
I want a return. Can't you technically get a return still?
I don't know. On Steam, I think you have to have played for less than a certain amount of time. Oh. But I don't know if I have or not. I'm not mad at it. I'm not refunding it.
I want it.
I'm enjoying it. I just think it's a little underwhelming for me. I wanted more of the space stuff, and it is very much just it's a Fallout or a Skyrim, but on some spacey planets. Mm-hmm. And the space stuff feels kind of like take it or leave it, whatever. Yeah. But the RPG's solid. I mean, Bethesda does an RPG really well. They know how to do that, and so if you like that, which I do like that, I just was hoping for that plus, and I didn't get the plus.
That's all I've been thinking about.
Yeah. If you like this episode, be sure to give us a great review, 5 stars on iTunes and all that good stuff. You can Yelp us. Trying to think of other review sites.
Google
review, yeah. Give us a Google review. No.
Trivago.
Expedia. Mm-hmm. Now it's just Travels. No, you can share us on social media. Obviously, tell your friends about us if you really enjoyed it. Make sure that you're liking, following, subscribing on your audio streaming service of choice. It helps out a lot. And then, if you want to get in touch with us, Chris will tell you how to do that.
Yeah, of course. You can always take a look at our social medias, our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, going to be the Simply Whelmed Podcast. Our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply, and you can always shoot us an email, let us know your thoughts, let us know what you think of Starfield so far, if there's any changes that you'd make. Yeah. And you can definitely let us know at simplywhelmedmailbag@gmail.com.
That's right. We did get an email I want to read.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up here.
Okay.
So this is from Ghosty. I believe they've emailed him before. I recognize that name. They say, hey, you guys were asking for episode suggestions, and Scott Pilgrim is getting an animated series on Netflix. I did see that trailer. Mm-hmm. You guys could read the graphic novels and watch the movie and kind of compare them, and then watch the trailer for the Netflix series and make predictions. I'm a pretty big fan, if that isn't obvious, and I'd be interested in hearing your take on it. But if it's not your thing, then another comic book episode I'd be down for. Thank you guys for coming back every week with entertaining content to listen to. Absolutely, Ghosty.
Don't tell us what to do.
Yeah, fuck off. No.
Don't. You're not running the show.
I've got a mother, all right?
Okay.
No, I mean, I like that. I'd be interested in that. I know that it's a pretty popular graphic novel.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Cera.
Yeah. So I'm not opposed
No
to.
chin.
What'd you say?
That's no chin.
He has no chin.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in reading the graphic novels.
True.
I don't know how long they are. I don't know if because usually when we do our
Not that
episodes,
long, ain't it?
usually when we do our comic book episodes, we kind of like scratch the surface of a book and then give our first impressions.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like we would want to do since it's finished. It feels like we would want to. But I don't know how long they are. So, anyways, we'd have to look into that. But I'm not opposed to that. But we've been talking about doing another comic book. So yeah, I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. Yeah, fucking keep you on your toes, bitch. No, let's see. Next week, we don't know. Yeah, it's always up in the air. Probably do another topic, maybe. Maybe we just do an episode where we just spitball a bunch of topics.
Honestly,
The topic this week is what's the next few weeks' topics.
what topic is what's been cooking?
Yeah,
You know,
we
it's just us in chef hats. We just sit in chairs,
just 45 minutes of us in the buff, except our chef hats and maybe an apron.
just going back and forth.
Just shooting the shit, going back and forth with, no bad ideas and spitballing. We just get real weird. We'll take
no bad ideas in spitball.
That's true. There's no bad ideas in spitballing. Unless that is being recorded, in which case everybody's going to hear your really bad ideas and go, Jesus, these guys are off the rails here. But I don't know. So who knows what we'll do next week? Maybe that. I think that's the end of the episode, Chris. Bye.
Bye.